Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of July 12th of the City Council of Newport News. If you're with us tonight and would like to address council, please register in the lobby and the staff, and please indicate if the item you wish to address is not on the agenda to mark item I. We have a light system on our podium. After you give your name and address, the green light will appear. At the end of 2 minutes will be the yellow light, and at the end of 3 minutes, the red light, and we ask that then you promptly take your seat. The City Code identifies the procedure for citizen participation regarding items on tonight's council agenda and provides the opportunity for citizens to address City Council on matters that are germane to the business of council. Matters that are germane to the business of council means matters that by law the council is empowered to act upon. This does not include announcements that are personal to you, your business, or your organization, including campaign information. Copies of the city ordinance regarding citizen participation can be found at the desk in the lobby. If you intend to address council this evening, please pick up and review a copy of that ordinance. We also ask at this time if you would silence your phones. And prior to the beginning of the business portion of the meeting, we will have Apostle Tenia Price, no relation that I'm aware of, with Holy Ground Tabernacle will provide an invocation to the council. Afterwards, Councilman Jenkins will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. It is the practice of council members to stand for its invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Those who wish to stand are welcome, but you are under no obligation to do so. If you will, ma'am.
O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. O Lord, my God, how excellent is thy name. From the ends of the earth thou art God. Morning by morning, new mercies we see. We've come tonight because you said that we could come. Thank you for life, health, and strength. Thank you for our city council members who make challenging decisions and the citizens who pray for our city. Look upon this council as they matriculate through the itinerary tonight, as they walk in unity, for where there is unity, there is strength. Help them as they speak for those who have no voice. Let them judge righteously, compassionately, remembering those who have rights, the rights of the people in our Constitution. Thank you for our first responders. Remember them. And our military. Encourage them during life-threatening situations. Let your protection rain down as a mighty river on every street in our communities. We give you glory tonight, and we give you praise. This we ask in the name of he who suffered, bled, died, rose, and is coming back again, the Lamb of God, who taketh away the sins of the world. And all the people of the Lord said, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a motion to excuse Councilman Harris from the meeting tonight?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury. 4. Motion carried 6-0.
Okay, we are now at public hearings. Page 4, item E1 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute. Oh, You're right. Before I get into that, can you leave that there? Yeah. We do have a slight presentation. Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. I wanted to say thank you to everyone from the city that joined us for our Juneteenth celebrations. And we tried to make sure that we had activities that all age groups could participate in. And so for our youth, grades 3 through 7, they had the opportunity to be in the poster contest. And so we had 2 winners this year. Our first prize winner was Jordan Ward. Jordan is in the 5th grade. She's homeschooled with Grace, and Jordan could not be here today. She and her family are out of town, but she was very excited. But I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledged her tonight. And when you go out tonight, if you can look in the foyer there, you will see the pictures that the posters that the children created about Juneteenth. But we do have our second prize winner here tonight. We have Amaya Wen. Amaya, come on up, Amaya. Amaya is in the 4th grade, and she's at Deer Park Elementary, and Amaya is our second place winner tonight. So let's give Amaya a hand. So Amaya, on behalf of the City of Newport News and the Downtown Newport News Merchants and Neighbors Association, we'd like to present you with your certificate and your prize money. So she's smiling. Amaya's poster is also out front, so I just want to say thank you. And Dad, she was first place last year, so her poster is outside as well. So thank you so much. And we also have another gift for you. We want you to continue to draw, because next year we're going to have a poster contest again, okay? Wish you the best, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you, Dad. Appreciate you.
Thank you. As I was saying, page 4, item E1 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute any and all documents, including deeds necessary to effectuate the conveyance of city-owned property located at King William County to Roger Elliott and Helen Elliott. During the late 1990s and early 2000s, Newport News Waterworks acquired 37 parcels, 792 acres in King William County for the development of King William Reservoir. The Scotland Landing Tract was the intended location of the reservoir pump station on the Mattaponi River, as well as the county park. When King William Reservoir project was discontinued, this property became surplus. Waterworks has received an offer to purchase one parcel of the surplus King William property, known as the Scotland Landing Tract. Roger Elliott and Helen Elliott have offered to purchase this 187-acre parcel for $756,870. The city manager recommends approval. And we have one speaker, Carl Musi. Is that correct? Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carl Musi. I'm an attorney up in the Richmond area, and I had been retained by a couple residents in King William that were very interested in purchasing this land. And after a review of the process, I think there's a lot of errors in the way that the property was sold. First of all, there was no notice. There was no signage at the property. There was no notice in the newspapers. There was no MLS warnings that the property was up for sale. And apparently, from what I've gathered, the property was sold in May, and it was for, the number you said, $750,000. But during that entire time frame, nobody knew that the property was for sale. The adjoining landowner actually offered $800,000 to the city about 4 years ago to purchase the property, and they said that it would be sold in the future. And again, he's an adjoining property owner. He was not given notice. The appraisal from about 4 years ago appraised the value at approximately $1.2 million. And now the new appraisal that was performed by the city appraised it at $800,000, and I just cannot fathom how there was a $400,000 drop in the property value. And I can tell you all that one client in particular was willing to pay up to $1 million to obtain the property. So what we were asking is that the property not be conveyed and that be actually advertised and open up to a true auction. And I am aware of at least 3 individuals, including one that has a business up there, that would in fact join in the auction, and you know, the price would, I just can't see how it's $750,000. I'm familiar with the area up there. I do a lot of real estate work. I've viewed the property. You have 1,000 feet of prime land on the river, and the property is relatively square. Even if they were going to develop it, I mean, you could probably put a large amount of homes on there. So I believe that the property, as was sold, was woefully undervalued. It's a disservice to the community folks of Newport News. They're not getting the true dollar value for the property. With an auction, if you do a true auction, you're going to get a much higher price. And again, I would definitely inquire further why this appraisal only came in at $800,000 when value has skyrocketed in the last 4 years. And the appraisal from 4 years ago was $1.2 million. So I don't understand what's going on. There was only a select group that was permitted to make a bid. Letters went out apparently to those individuals. It was sold in May. And even the adjoining property owner was still interested in purchasing the land. And even at $800,000, it would have been $50,000 more than what was paid. And even he would joke that $800,000 woefully undervalues the property. So we are asking that the council reconsider and do a true bid and auction the property.
Thank you. Madam Manager?
I'll defer to the city attorney.
Well, all the proper procedures were followed. To lease or franchise Waterworks land, we would have to go through a bid process where the bid process is advertised. But we can negotiate a sale subject to approval of the City Council, and it requires, under Section 15.22100 subsection A, a 3/4 vote of the local governing body to sell Waterworks land. So that would mean it would take 6 council votes to sell it at whatever price. I understand as far as the appraisals go, there were some issues. For one thing, it's landlocked. There's no access to the property. I think the large appraisal, the bigger one that was done last year, used one comparable that was a relatively small sale at a very high price, but only discounted $45,000 for it being landlocked, whereas the other appraisals that have been had on it over the years had a much larger discount for the fact that it's landlocked, and no guarantee you're going to be able to or how much it would take to negotiate some access from other property owners. But in any event, there was a contract negotiated by Waterworks, subject to City Council approval, and that's what we're here for today. It would take 6 votes of the council, or all 6 members that are present, to approve it tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I'm concerned about this. You want to get it on the vote first?
Yeah, I want to at least close the public hearing and then.
All right, go ahead.
Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yeah, well, I'll make it when we get to it.
All right, call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the ordinance? Hearing no motion to adopt the ordinance, I would.
Is there a motion to reject the
Is there a motion to reject the ordinance?
Yes, I will make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, I mean, since the gentleman brought it up, with the council rejecting the motion, so what happens, Mr. Attorney? Does this mean that these owners don't get an opportunity to purchase this land and that it will be put back out on auction or bid or whatever? Just a point of clarity.
For years, again, but right now, there's a contingent contract, a contingency of city council approval. And if city council votes against approving it or fails to approve it, it could fail on a 5-to-1 vote if the motion were to approve. But right now, there's a motion to reject it, which would seem to indicate that it's not going to get 6 votes for approval, so it will not pass.
One other question, Mr. Attorney. You said it followed all the proper procedures, and how do we advertise this kind of property?
For the public hearing here, the normal provisions in the code would be advertising it twice, but because the Acts of Assembly in 1920s, when we acquired the waterworks, requires us to advertise any sale or lease of waterworks property 4 times. It was advertised 4 times in the daily press. So it was advertised. Actually, waterworks properties tend to be advertised much more than any other city property we sell. Now, there was no advertisement. From what I understand, there wasn't an advertisement to go out for bid on this. And why the adjoining property owners weren't notified, I don't know. I understand the county was advised that we were going out for bid on it.
Okay, so it was a notice that it was up for sale?
Yes.
But not a notice for an auction to bid?
There was a notice for the public hearing tonight.
Okay.
To sell it. That was advertised 4 times. I think the last ad was July 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
So it
So
met
once a
all,
week for 4
it met all
weeks.
the proper
Mhm.
conditions to sell?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'd just like to find out, so as the gentleman brought up, since it's under waterworks, does it not have to do like most properties would do, have somebody, I know I read that there was a real estate person involved with waterworks, but they don't have to put it on the market?
There's not a requirement for that. The city privately negotiates contracts for sale all the time. Certain types of property, we have to go out for open bid for lease or franchise, and that includes public right-of-way, parkland, waterworks land. If we had any other utilities, those lands would have to go out for a bid process, which is why if we're doing an easement over certain types of land, you get an open bid. I believe there's one tonight the bid was open last week. If we were leasing it or doing a franchise on it, we're limited by the Constitution to a lease or franchise of no more than 40 years, and we would have to jump through that process. But subsection A doesn't require that for the fee simple sale.
Yeah, okay. And then the other thing, I have been concerned for the last 2 meetings about these waterwork property prices, because they do seem very low.
Compared to what we
Paid.
spent on and paid, you got. And the city manager was kind enough to supply me with the difference in what we paid for them and what we're getting for them. So there is a comparison there. And I just won't vote for it because it is woefully under what we paid for it. And the whole thing was a disaster so far as I'm concerned. I worked against it, and I know many others did too. But to see us not even recuperate half, not even half, a quarter, seems really foolish on our part, and I just can't support it. And I don't know what we can do about it. Maybe we should hire the gentleman who came and spoke, because he's a realtor, to come in and reassess and to give us a good idea of what the property is really worth and what we could get for some of these, because we're selling them, for much under what I think they're valued for. So, as I said, it was a pretty bad time, and I don't see, taking another loss after the first one, so.
Well, I'm not as concerned about whether we recoup what we spent, because at the time, I didn't make the decision to buy this stuff, but it was more before I got here. But they were buying it for a purpose, so they were doing land acquisition based on, I'm understanding, and Madam Manager wasn't even here at that time, based on what they needed. But I am concerned that how the property is so, assessed so low under the conditions, but I'm satisfied, Mr. City Attorney, if you said we met the guidelines, I don't have any problem with that. But I'm just, my apprehension was just to, that they are so low, and I think I commented last time what we sold a piece of land for. It was less than what you could buy a lot for in the city of Newport News, because, see, I tried to buy some lots here, so I know. So that was my concern then. So I do share concern, but I respect your opinion, and we pay you the big bucks.
They retained a realtor on a number of these parcels, but I don't think they did on this one because they knew they had buyers interested and they didn't want to pay the 8% commission.
Okay, who is they?
Waterworks.
Okay.
But
Any further discussion?
I do have a question. I'm trying to get clarity, if you would, please. So the gentleman that spoke said that, if I heard him correctly, that there are individuals who want to purchase this property at a higher amount. Is that what I heard you say, sir?
Yes, that's correct.
And so what is the process, Mr. Attorney, if we don't approve this tonight? Can it go back out to bid and allow those individuals to bid on it?
yeah, well, that's up to Waterworks. If it's not approved tonight, then the contingency contract is not approved. At which point it's still city land that's held for Waterworks purposes, and it's sat there for the last 12 or 14 years. And it could sit there longer, or they could go out and find a buyer for it. I think we have, about 7 years left on the bonds? About that? So that was one of the reasons we hadn't moved it before was...
What is the amount left on the bonds? I used to ask that every
I have
council.
this information, but not with me here tonight.
Yeah, and we had provided that to you, but I don't know off the top of my head. We'd have to go back and
Perhaps you
check.
could get it to me.
And I may ask the city attorney just to understand at this point, council's already voted to close the public hearing. Can
Yes.
you defer it and not vote further, and we can come back to you with some additional information and a recommendation about going forward, or
Or
you can go ahead and vote? I just want to make sure you knew what your options are.
and then the process could start again.
Yeah, because even if we voted down, because I really did need more information, and now listening to the gentleman, if no contracts come, can you bring those same people back, or?
It would depend on whether or not they're interested.
They will be
It's
interested.
easy to say you have
Well,
offers
well,
until you
quite-
have it in hand,
Yeah.
and then you figure out what the additional costs may be associated. It may not come back the way you anticipate, but we don't
Yeah,
have a problem
But I'm
with
quite sure they
council would
probably
like us to
will
do.
bring it back if redo it, because it seems to be an excellent offer for that amount of land.
We'll be happy, whatever. I'll defer to the attorney in terms of the
Right now,
process going
I believe the
forward.
motion on the floor is to reject
Yes,
the offer,
yes.
and it's been seconded?
Yes.
Okay.
And discuss.
I just still need clarity. So if we don't approve it tonight, and I understand this young man said that there may be buyers, so it will go back to Waterworks for them to, and I guess this, because we have a couple of them tonight, and so were all those owners that are around that other properties as well as this one informed that there was, so
Can I
if y'all
ask
could
the-
speak to that.
I can ask the director to come
Thank
forward
you, I
and
appreciate that.
speak to that in terms of the other properties.
Because that's going to impact everything that we
But
have on our
to your
agenda
question, it
tonight.
goes back to Waterworks, and as the city attorney said, you can decide to do nothing. We can hold on to it, we can go back out, but the contract that's currently in front of you would not proceed, so those owners would not be able to proceed.
So we followed actually two different processes because of the type of properties that we have. There were 3 large parcels, which were actually kind of mitigation parcels, including the one for the pump station, which is the Scout Landing. And we have a multitude, we have about 36 or so parcels that are much smaller, and that for which there was very little interest since the project was terminated. So we needed to hire a real estate broker to generate the interest, the marketing, and assist us in selling these properties. The first property we're talking about tonight is part of the 3 large parcels that Waterworks was going to handle with the city attorney's office internally. The following 2 that you see in the agenda are actually part of these bundled properties handled by the real estate broker.
Okay, and so with that, thank you. And so with that being said, I just want to be clear. The property owners or those, this gentleman saying that he knows someone, did that go out to bid so other folks, we didn't do anything internally, it did go out to public so that others could bid on the property? Am I hearing you say that?
Yes, for items 2 and 3, the ones that are using a real estate broker, the adjoining property and previous property owners were contacted. There was also an advertisement in a local newspaper, basically what's traditionally is being done when you sell property. For the property that we're talking about, the Scout Landing property, which had really different appraisals, $1.1 million in 2018, and then actually competing appraisal of $582,000 the same year, different person.
Wow.
So it's a pretty wide range. But because of the continued interest from people since 2009 in purchasing this property, we knew we had enough competition to be able to get the price above the appraised value, which is what legal counsel had said for the bond.
Okay, thank you.
Also, could I ask a question about, I noticed that this was landlocked. Is the potential buyer aware that in Virginia you can own landlocked property and never get a right-of-way to get to? I have personal knowledge of that.
That's a good point. In this case, for the Scout Landing, I believe that everyone was aware of it. That's why we had actually 4 interests in particular, only 2 offers, and the reason the 2 others declined was because it was landlocked and depended on actually the neighbor's authorization to access the property.
So the other people that made offers, they found out, they responded from the local newspaper announcement?
No, they were responding for 2 things. One was contacted by actually the real estate broker we're using for the other properties, because we did reach out to this person and say, if you know anyone else who might be interested. And the other one was actually somebody who had been part of the King William County administration and had been made aware of it.
So this offer tonight is the only one you actually got?
No, we had 2 offers, and there was a bid higher than the other, and the higher bid is the one we're pursuing the process with.
Okay, any further discussion? We're now voting on a motion to reject the bid. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry?
Against.
Councilman Jenkins? Mayor Price?
Against.
Councilwoman Scott?
I am going to vote against because the city attorney said that we met all the requirements, so I don't want to undermine his position and what you and your department does to make sure that we're doing things correctly. So I'm going to vote against the rejection.
Councilwoman Vick?
Well, after talking with Jan, only thing I don't know, did I second the motion? Because if I second, I know I can't change, can I?
Sure. That's not binding.
Okay, well, after hearing Jan, and I do understand your case, but I mean, to get another offer, that means something went out to reach somebody else, and it wasn't just a loan contract. That made me understand it better. So I'm going to vote against this motion.
Councilwoman Woodbury? Motion carried.
Motion fails.
I'm sorry. Motion fails.
Carried to fail.
Carried to fail.
Is there another motion?
Oh, I'll make an alternate motion. I will move to support the motion as presented and recommended by the city manager.
I second.
Moved in second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Councilman Jenkins.
Against?
Mayor Price.
4. Do we need to continue?
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
Against.
The motion fails for lack of 6 votes.
Right, thank you. Okay, page 14, item 2 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute any and all documents, including deeds necessary to effectuate conveyance of city-owned property located in King William County to David Spence III, John Neen Jr., and David S. Williams. Same history of the property. I don't have to read that, do I? Mr. Attorney? Oh, thank you. Okay, David Spence III, John Neen Jr., and David S. Williams have offered to purchase 4 surplus parcels totaling 180.2 acres for $133,000. These parcels are irregularly shaped and consist of mainly bottomland and steep ravines. The city manager recommends approval. There is one speaker, David Williams, for questions only. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes. Mr. Ayan, what percentage of that land is developable? He said it's a lot of ravine and whatever on this, and it's only selling for $1,000 an acre. So is there a percentage of it that is developable for $1,000 an acre?
Well, this is the difficulty, is that these parcels were supposed to be submerged under the new reservoir, so they tend to have very uneven topography and steep slopes. So that's why it's actually very difficult to develop them, and why we had very little interest since the project was terminated.
So I know that in Virginia, there are wetland banks for people who have some property over here and they want to develop, but you can mitigate by using some over there. Is there any value in the waterworks making some profit that way, or is it just not worth it? I mean,
We're not allowed under state law to operate a mitigation bank. We can use waterworks land to mitigate when the city needs to mitigate,
Only.
but we can't sell it.
Okay,
That's right.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
And Councilwoman Woodbury.
Against.
Motion carried, 5-1.
No,
Motion
motion
fails.
fails for lack of 6 votes.
This is a test, Lord. You have to pay attention tonight, sweetie.
failing immeasurably.
This is the first time in my history of 20-plus years that we've had a motion fail twice in a row, Mr. Attorney.
Could I still speak since I'm David Williams?
Sure, come up, sir.
I'm David Williams, and I'm registered to speak. I'm wanting to purchase a contract on this property. I know the question on the value of this land, when you had a question about developable, is not developable at all. It's all ravines, there's no timber on it, it's bottom land. Only thing you can do on it is hunt. Well, and access is very limited. 3 of the parcels are landlocked. You can't, there's no access to it. It's only for hunting. And it's not very good hunting because of the irregular shape. It's like a, if I had a GSF map I could show you, it's like a, Newport News went in and bought all the fingers where they go up in the bottoms and stuff where the water's going to go. And that's what this is. It's just, it's not worth any more than that. It isn't.
So is that what you plan to do, Mr. Williams? You plan to hunt on the property? Is that, was
That's
that
the only
your,
value
was that
of
your
it.
thought? Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Right.
really, you can't even drive on it because it's so just ravines and bottoms and that type of thing.
Well, I was willing to let you have it since you like swampland, but we need 6
Well, I wanted
votes.
it
Sorry.
And since it has been voted by only, I think, the person who could bring it back, if you're interested. If not, then it stands. Okay.
Bring it back when, now?
Now or by the next meeting?
All right, I'll bring it back.
Okay. She is rescinding her vote. Is there a second to reopen?
Motion to reconsider?
A motion to reconsider.
I second it.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry?
4.
This is on the motion to reconsider.
Yes.
Not to approve the ordinance. Yes.
Councilman Jenkins?
4.
Mayor Price?
4.
Councilwoman Scott? 4. Councilwoman Vick?
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury?
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Yes.
Good.
You got it.
Now that it's been voted to reconsider, you have the original motion on the
Right.
floor again that needs to be voted on once again.
So,
Lucky you.
so the original motion is back on the table. Call the roll, please.
Do we have to move adoption and do all that again?
No,
Okay.
the motion to reconsider puts it back on the floor.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Vice,
just want to thank Mr. Williams for being here because so many times we have information we're just reading. So to actually be able to talk to somebody. Yeah, maybe we should start doing that when it comes to bringing the map. Because that I know what I'm talking about. That I might look at the map, but I haven't seen the actual thing like he has. So I think that is always helpful.
But you can use it as mitigation.
Probably not. It's not the type of wetland. I was on wetland pool King and Queen, and no, you couldn't.
You could.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry?
4.
Councilman Jenkins?
4.
Mayor Price?
4.
Councilwoman Scott?
4.
Councilwoman Vick?
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury?
4.
All right.
Motion carried, 6-0.
All right, page 28, item E3 is request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute any and all documents, including deeds necessary to effectuate the conveyance of city-owned property located in King William County to David M. Watkins and Marilyn K. Watkins. Same history of the property. The two parcels are a total of 8.7 acres, and they are offering $10,000. The city manager recommends approval. Are there any speakers? No. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry?
4.
Councilman Jenkins?
4.
Mayor Price?
4.
Councilwoman Scott?
4.
Councilwoman Vick?
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury?
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Move adoption.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes. Hon, is this some more swampland? Is this some more swampland? Is it developable?
It's all. I guess it's all the same. At least we found out
It is
tonight.
part of that same group of land that was going to be submerged by the reservoir, so it is swampland with steep, slopes and difficult topography.
Okay,
Yes.
so the next time when we have this, could you make sure that Madam Manager
But we
put
never have
up
that.
there submerged, can't be developed, or developable, and then maybe we won't have this excitement that we're having here tonight.
Makes it lively, but yes, we
Yes,
will
it
do
was a
that.
good laugh, though. I felt it all the way to the gut. Thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry?
4.
Councilman Jenkins?
4.
Mayor Price?
4.
Councilwoman Scott?
4.
Councilwoman Vick?
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury?
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
All righty. Page 36 is item E4 is request to adopt an ordinance authorizing the execution of any and all documents necessary to effectuate conveyance of city-owned property located at 962 19th Street to Ashan Figures Enterprises, LLC, AFE Developers. Approval is requested for the conveyance of a surplus city-owned undeveloped parcel located on 962 19th Street to AFE Developers for the assessed value of $15,000. AFE indicates that it intends to construct a new single-family home on the site. The potential sale has been circulated for interdepartmental review, and no objections to the conveyance has been received. The city manager recommends approval. There are no speakers. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
4.
Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, I am so glad that somebody purchased this because it's on the street, and to be able to have a single-family home there without all of the grass growing out in the streets every year, somebody calls me about it. So thank you, City Attorney, that we will have a single-family home there, and of course an opportunity for a family to have an affordable housing opportunity. So thank you, and I wish the developers well.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Okay, page 40, item E5 is a request to adopt an ordinance authorizing and directing the city manager to execute a deed of easement granting a temporary construction easement to Hampton Road Sanitation District over city-owned property located at 7499 75th Street. The proposed 146-acre-foot temporary construction easement is necessary for construction of gravity sewer improvements. There are no costs to the city. The city manager recommends approval. There are no speakers. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
I didn't hear a second, sorry.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
We are now at the consent agenda. Item F contains the following items: page 49, minutes of the work session; page 76, minutes of the special meeting of June 28th; page 79, minutes of the regular meeting of June 28th. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda items F1 through F3, all inclusive?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Okay, we're now at other city council actions, page 129, item G1. Madam Manager.
Yes, this is a request to receive and open bids for granting a utility easement over city-owned property located at 100 City Farm Road.
You got it? I got it. Oh, thank you. All righty. I missed it. Need batteries. All righty. They double bag it. Dominion Energy bids $1. Thank you. Page 139, item G2, Madam Manager.
Request to approve a resolution granting permission to use the city's rights-of-way for the purposes of displaying public art and authorizing the city manager to execute a temporary, non-exclusive, revocable license agreement by and between the City of Newport News, Virginia, and the Newport News Public Arts Foundation, and I recommend approval.
Okay, there are no speakers. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins. Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott. 4. Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury. 4. Motion carried, 6-0.
Okay, item G3, page 155, Madam Manager.
Request to approve a resolution supporting the submittal by the Hampton Roads Transportation Planning Organization of a multi-jurisdictional smart-scale project grant application on behalf of the City of Newport News, Virginia, to be included in the Virginia Department of Transportation smart-scale program and 6-year improvement plan, and I recommend approval.
Okay, there are no speakers. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, I want to ask a question on this. Have we gotten a grant from them before?
For this, we have submitted before. This is through the Planning District Commission to
Right.
go to the state.
But I mean, have we gotten any money from this?
For this particular trail?
Uh-huh.
Not that I'm aware of. There's Sherry. I thought she was over here.
Not for this particular portion of the trail. So this is a grant application that the HRTPO is
Right.
presenting on our behalf, as well as York County. This is a section of the trail, pardon me, that extends through both localities. So the HRTPO is submitting it on our behalf. But as part of that application process, as you're aware, it requires a resolution of support. So that's all they're asking tonight, is for a resolution.
That's a resolution. okay.
Yeah, so they can make the application.
Great, thank you.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins. 4. Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
Page 159, item G4, Madam Manager.
This is the request to approve a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a grant agreement with the Department of Environmental Quality and any and all documents necessary to effectuate the design and construction of the Lynchburg Drive channel improvements, and I recommend approval.
Okay, there are no speakers. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins.
4.
Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury. 4. Motion carried, 6-0.
Page 180, item G5, Madam Manager.
The request to adopt an ordinance authorizing an encroachment upon the 23rd Street right-of-way and the execution of an encroachment agreement between the City of Newport News and JEM Commercial, and I recommend approval.
Okay, there are no speakers. Again, is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins. 4. Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury. 4. Motion carried, 6-0.
Page 193, item H, Madam Manager.
Yes, we have one appropriation, and it's a request to approve a resolution appropriating $285,740 awarded to the city from the Aid to Local Ports Program for improvements to the Menchville Marina, and I recommend approval.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved to second. Any discussion? Call the roll,
I think
please.
this is wonderful, I'm just
Right.
saying. Menchville Marina has needed these improvements for a long time.
Vice Mayor Cherry. 4. Councilman Jenkins. 4. Mayor Price.
4.
Councilwoman Scott.
4.
Councilwoman Vick.
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury.
4.
Motion carried, 6-0.
We are now at citizens' comments that are germane to the matters in the business of City Council. I will call them in order. Pam Hall. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Pam Hall, and I live in the Southeast community. In my opinion, we, the people of the Southeast community, deserve a governing body that listens to the will of the people and not impose their will on the people. In my opinion, transparency does not exist when it comes to the Southeast Community Resource Area and Huntington. When will the community be publicly informed that this is the last year for Doris Miller Community Center, the outdoor playground, the outdoor pool, the outdoor basketball court at 28th and Orchid, or in the Southeast community for at least the next 3 years? When will we get the results of the study done to address the impact of no community center in the Southeast community? When will the signage be moved from 3401 Orchid Avenue to 28th and Orchid? In closing, I hope our voices speak in November at the ballot box. Remember to return the power back to the people.
Bianca Wilson.
Sorry. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you guys? Mayor Price and Vice Mayor Sherry, thank you, and council members, thank you for having me. My name is Bianca Wilson. I was raised down here in downtown Newport News. My mother and family still live down here. I'm an Air Force veteran. I have a business called BR Consulting Group in Hampton. I also have a nonprofit. I'm here on behalf of the residents of CU Loft. I have someone else that's here with me. She's actually a resident, is also going to speak. I have a few concerns. First and foremost, I definitely want to thank you for all the things that you have done for the residents in the Department of Human Services as far as providing them hotels, vouchers, and food vouchers. My concern is, I guess the residents do not know, and I'm not sure if you guys know either, if there's an extension outside of July 14th. My position here today is to represent them and also to question how property managers or owners and developers are actually managing the property. One day, I guess I can speak with you guys outside of here, but their background checks are required for the tenants, but are they required for the owners? Example, Benjamin Weinstein, who hasn't showed up. I feel that maybe that can be included in the process of bidding or buying property. That way we can better know who you're dealing with outside of money or value in buying property. I have a lot of people I talk to that are residents who have not received a voucher. They were not able to attend or even go to receive one. I'm also an IT consultant. I have a master's degree in computer science. I do recommend using some type of technology in the future, maybe a form or something to get out on a web page that people can kind of fill out online. That way you have a list of residents, of Seaview Loft. You can see who has received and who hasn't. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask you, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, just quickly.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
the people who, and thank you so much for coming. So you're saying there are people who have not received, who cannot, can they not come down to wherever?
Yes, I have, and just for example, I have an elderly gentleman. He's living at Express Inn. He wasn't able to receive a voucher. He said he had transportation to get down there. I don't know if he was out there the day that it was being handed out. I wasn't sure of that. He has paid out of pocket. He has also filed with his rental insurance. You know how long that may take to get back. So I know the 11th was the last day, and up until the other day, you guys extended it. So we're just concerned because just like, the woman who's going to speak today, I'm sorry, they're just, because where they're going to go, we're collecting money to help just as well as you all, but we're just concerned about where they're going to go.
Yeah.
Did you all get the information about, is that event tomorrow?
Yes, we just got that today coming in.
There's another opportunity, and we had some really fruitful discussions during the work session, and I think that there's some opportunity. There will be landlords who own property who will be here to help you guys without you having to run around and look for property. So we hope that makes an impact and give you some options. And I did ask some poignant questions during the work session because I am concerned about what happens past this point. But also, our city manager so eloquently put it: we have to stop somewhere. But we feel your pain, and we are, as a city, doing all we can to stand with you. And I'm sure the Department of Human Services, for the gentleman who couldn't get there, I just asked him to reach out to them. I know Ms. Ginger, the assistant director, I know her as well, and she's very compassionate about what she does in the human services. So ask him please to reach out, or you can get with one of us after the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. And I also spoke to the Leslie Baker, I think that's her name, the communications sponsor over the Department of Human Services. I talked to her very heavily over the phone last week, and she was very helpful.
And there is a van. There was a van out there every day with our name on it, Human Services on that. So you can, people who don't have transportation can call. They've been texting, so call to get transportation, particularly at this event tomorrow, because the landlords will be there.
Okay, so they do have transportation, like from the hotel down here?
Yes.
Okay.
And there is a website on our website.
Do they still have the van? They still have the van. Alan is laughing. I hope I'm not.
Well, you can talk to Mr. Archer over there. He can be a
Okay.
big help to you. You can just cut to the chase. Talk to Mr. Archer.
Or she might be able to call. Can she call the thing on the app? Does it go that far?
It does that.
HRT. But we.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes, ma'am.
If I could. I hope you will talk to Mr. Archer when you leave.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I was with the residents on Friday when they got housing, and every resident that signed up received housing. Even those who had pets, we stayed until after 7 o'clock last Friday to make sure all of the residents that had signed up and were leaseholders were placed in housing for lodging.
Okay.
When they received, there were some people that received vouchers, or people came on site last Friday and gave them a voucher or some type of gift card. When we were together with the residents on last Wednesday, every resident that had hotel lodging received what the concerned clergy provided for them. They received a voucher. Those who could not come in, they had access to make contact with the Department of Human Services if they could not come, so that we could make sure that they received it. Some of those who did not come, even those vouchers, those gift cards were taken to them if they made contact to let us know that they could not come to get their gift cards. And then those who were not housed in the hotel, on yesterday, we met with those who were not housed in the hotel. They received text messages, they received phone calls, they received information, and also with the website that they could come to get their gift card on yesterday. So if there was someone that we missed, then I need you to see Mr. Archer to make sure that we take care of them, because all of those that we had that were leaseholders, that were current leaseholders, received, they had the opportunity to receive lodging, or they chose to stay someone else. But all of them that were leaseholders received something from the city as well as from the concerned clergy. So I'm not sure who you're making reference to, but I ask that you see Mr. Archer to make sure we take care of that.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
just
so
want to
much.
make sure that misinformation does not go out across these airways, because everybody was serviced that asked for help.
Right, and I understand that, and I completely get what you guys are saying, and I understand it was hard in mental health. You know, some residents I've talked to, it's very difficult. So I appreciate that, and I do think this housing fair will definitely help with that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Tanya Wade. Good evening.
Hello, good evening. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here to speak today. My name is Tanya Wade, and I'm one of the residents of Seaview Lofts Apartments. I'm here today because I want to know what's going to happen to us once Thursday, July 14th come at 11 a.m. We haven't heard anything as far as if we'll be able to still have somewhere to stay. I know our building is not going to be probably ready by then, and we're just concerned because me personally, I have a heart condition, and so it's hard for me to have to figure out, like, constantly having to plug out my heart monitor that's being monitored by my cardiologist and the hospital, to keep having to, travel and keep unplugging and plugging it up, plugging it up. And it's rumors that once the elevators are back working, that once we get back in, they're going to start, like, eviction processes for those of us that was doing the rental assistant program. It's rumors that it's just like we don't have nowhere to go. Like, they're trying to put us out, and I have nowhere else to go if I can't go back there. And another thing is, if we do go back there, are the issues that's going on there, are they going to be resolved and fixed? Because like I said, I have a heart issue, and so I can't be around all that mold that's in the apartments, the water damage, the roaches, the rats, everything that's going on inside that building. Everybody's talking about the elevator, but it's more than just the elevators. Nobody actually know what's actually going on inside of there. And a lot of people are afraid to speak up because, like I said, they're being threatened of the consequences they'll have to face if they speak up. But I'm tired of being quiet. So what's going to happen?
Well, I encourage you to go to that meeting we just spoke about tomorrow, because there will be some people there who can help you, short-term leases or whatever. You need some stability. We do understand that. But we cannot monitor your landlord after the city does its part with the code inspections and it's approved for you all to reoccupy. It's out of our hands. We cannot monitor his behavior. We do understand it, and it's been a common problem in the city with a few properties of situations like yours. But anything that is against the code, that's the only issue that we as a body and the manager can address. But why would you want to go back if there are roaches and rats and mice?
No, that's the thing. I'm happy about the situation that came, because I feel like if I spoke up a lot, I stayed on top of codes and compliance. I spoke with management. I did everything that I could, but one person complaining is not going to do nothing. They're just going to look at you as a trouble tenant. And I've been there since 2011, not saying that the building was perfect before he took over, but it got worse. And I feel like any little thing that was wrong, they wasn't fixing it 100%. They'll put like a little Band-Aid on it. Like, for example, with the water damage in my dining room area, like the whole ceiling, the bubbles in the wall, the stuff falling off my walls, my bathroom flooding when it rained, my balcony doors. I moved in that apartment. Now, mind you, I left one apartment to move to a newly renovated apartment. My rent went from $645 to $975, and the apartment was worse than the apartment I was living in. My balcony doors, I got a balcony in my bedroom, I got a balcony in my living room. I moved in August 2021 into that apartment, and my balcony doors, none of them closed all the way. So I had to go through the whole winter time sleeping in my coats and hats and gloves and shoes and everything, because nobody wanted to come repair my balcony doors. I didn't have no heat. Summertime, I don't have no AC. They didn't want to repair it. Everybody that they sent out there to look at it to see if it could be fixed, they all said it cannot be fixed. It needs to be repaired, because the building being so old, it's just going to mess up again. So they fixed it on their own, because they told me, oh, they only telling us that it needs to be repaired because they want more money from us. No, that's not it. They just want it to be stingy and not pay up
Yeah, well, Ms.
to fix
Wade,
the
so
stuff.
tomorrow, if you attend the fair, you will have some housing options, and hopefully you'll find something that's a little more suitable, and I'm sure all the other details you can work out with any landlord-tenant right attorney if you all are not being able to put your rent in escrow. There are some things you can do, so we can't advise you on that, but there are options, so we hope you find something tomorrow.
I appreciate it.
And if you have problems, you can call Mr. Archer.
I will. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're now at new business. Madam Manager,
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Attorney,
Nothing, sir.
Madam Clerk,
Nothing, sir.
Councilman Jenkins,
Nothing.
Councilwoman Scott.
Yes, I just want to thank everybody for coming down tonight and creating some excitement in my life. And giving me a chance to really laugh, and, the endorphins just bump in, to get past some of the pain that I had last week. I just had some joy this week. So, also, I just want to mention to the citizens in the North District, I do apologize profusely for us not having a meeting last month, but unfortunately, because of some family matters, I won't be able to have the meeting in July. So I can promise you some excitement in August, September, and October. So I'll make it up to you by doing what one of the directors suggested. Now I have to put them to work, and we're going to talk about some of the projects and things that has happened over the 20 years of my tenure. That's going to be exciting because I'm sure that there are things that I don't even remember. So I look forward to seeing some, and I'm sure it would take too long, Madam Manager. She's over there smiling because she knows this is a really project. But the one who suggested, let me see, she's here. She's in the room. So I would be interested to see. So we hope that we can just kind of create some excitement and just kind of show you a little bit about where we've come from, whence we've come over the last 20 years. So I just appreciate you all's patience and flexibility. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Vick.
I only have one item, and that is to say congratulations and a job well done for the renaming of the Thomas Nelson Community College to the Virginia Peninsula Community College. So they had a ceremony out there. Dr. Brennan, all of the board members were out there. So many elected officials, state, of course, the mayor from Hampton, and so many of the Hampton leadership, and we had such a great time, really welcoming the new facility. So just want to say it was a great time had by all, and congratulations on bringing the new name to our university. Our college. Sorry. That's all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Woodbury.
Just enjoy vacations. Thanks for all who come and all who participate. And I urge everybody online who are listening to get involved in your city council, to sign up for a board or, as I told you last time, so that you know what is going on. So King William Reservoir will never happen again. And that the way we do that is by knowing what the city's doing. And I'm also pushing having meetings in other parts of the city because that restricts so many people. By the time somebody up in Denby drives down here and goes back, that's 40 miles. And they only get to speak 3 minutes. And so I think I will keep pushing that. I have pushed it for all the years I've been on, but I think pretty sure I'm going to get the 4 votes that will make sure we have meetings in other parts of the city. Thank you. I hope you have a good vacation. Be safe and well. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Cherry.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to say thank you for coming and listening online if you're with us tonight. I have just a few things. I want to thank the city staff, Madam Manager, for all the work that has gone forth to try to really work with the residents of Seaview Loft. It is a tragedy, but we're hoping that that those who are able will come to the resource fair tomorrow and hopefully get some assistance with different things. And I hope if you didn't have a flyer, we do have a flyer, but I do believe that they sent it out to all of the residents so that to make sure that you have that information. I do want to say thank you to Mr. Archer for all of the hard work. You have really been a champion for the residents and a champion to try to make sure everyone received lodging. You were working really hard, and so I just want to say thank you to you and to Ginger Blunt Moore and to Van Thomas and Department of Human Services. We don't want to not say thank you to you as well. And we know that this is a challenge for the residents, but this is also a challenge for the city of Newport News. But I say thank you that we are a welcoming city and a city that cares about its residents enough to step up to the plate and do what we could up to this point. So I want to say thank you. I'd like to also thank Cindy Hahn and Serve the City volunteers today for their work in the Southeast community. Their motto is many people doing small things together can make a big difference. That was very visible today, having the different projects to be service in the community, from painting to some of everything. And I had the opportunity to work on Project 6 for goodie bags for the residents at the Spratley House. So it was a fun time to make the bags for them, all different designs, but also it was wonderful to be able to go back into the Spratley House and see the residents and see the work, all of the hard work that have been done. All of them have not returned, but for those that are back home, we just want to say welcome home, so I'm happy that that has been done. I also want to just say congratulations to now Bishop Julian Ricks. He was an apostle, and he had his consecration and enthronement on last Saturday. It was a beautiful service, and I pray that the Church of Destiny will continue to fulfill its kingdom purpose in the city of Newport News and do the work God calls him to do. I just want to remind everyone that the Your Voice Matters South District Town Hall meeting, we will not have any meetings in July, but we will resume in August 11th and August the 18th. We will have an ice cream sundae fun night on August the 18th at Downing Groves Cultural Arts Center from 6 to 7:30. And on August 11th, we're hoping to have some more information about traffic calming for the North Newport News area of town. Thank you, God bless, and have a safe summer.
Thank you. I just have a few comments. First, I want to congratulate Apostle Price for staying the entire meeting. We appreciate that. And I want to congratulate once again, I think it's been a while since we had a parade, Hilton Village. I look forward to that parade every year, and my last one as mayor. Got to walk down that one. That's good. Also, our city's 4th of July, I want to congratulate the city on that. It was a spectacular U.S. Air Force Heritage American Band did a great job, and tremendous fireworks and lots of people out there. I think everybody was happy to get back out and see the fireworks and celebrate. Also had an opportunity today to visit the youth fire camp hosted by Newport News Fire Department. Thank you, Chief, for giving me the opportunity to speak to some young people from Achievable Dream that are attending that. They seem to be having a good time and learning a lot, so we appreciate that. I was also at the Thomas Nelson outside for an hour in the heat today. Didn't get an opportunity to speak, but if I had, I would have reminded Thomas Nelson and now Virginia Peninsula Community College that we have more students and we pay more money to that institution and still do not have bricks and mortar in Newport News. Hopefully that will change. And lastly, I want to say condolences to two families. That one of B. Berry, who passed last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, and condolences to the family of Sandra Patterson Davis, who passed away in February, and her life will be celebrated this weekend. I was in her first teaching class at Huntington High School. She was a social studies teacher, and I was in her first class, and she gave a lot to this community. We will miss them both. With that, if there's no further comment.
Just one, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, yeah. You, either side. Either side. No, go ahead.
I just, see, you made me forget what I was going to say. Oh, I know what I was going to say. We do not have a second meeting in July. I just wanted to mention that, Mr. Mayor, since you forgot.
Oh, I was supposed to mention that?
Yes,
Okay.
you're supposed to. That's why you're the mayor.
Okay.
And one other thing, on a more somber note, I just want to offer condolences to all of the families who lost a loved one over the past week. You all have seen it in the news. That's the only reason I'm saying it out loud. because otherwise I don't want to say it out loud. But a lot of people lost loved ones, and our hearts go out to you. And I just commend our chief of police, Drew, and his department for working hard to resolve these issues as quickly as they can. And I had a conversation with him today about, how they have actually put the technology they have to work and put their feet on the ground and go out and try to resolve these issues. Our chief loves our city, and I know that, and he has a lot of pressure right now with what's going on, and I just feel sorry that it's nothing we can do to just stop these things. As much as we try, as many programs that we pay for, as many things that we try to do to get the kids involved, and still, over time, it may not seem as though it's making an impact today, but we hope over time that we won't have to have these conversations and talk about families who lost their loved ones because of a senseless murder, or because somebody just decided that day that they were angry with the world. So Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry to end on such a somber note, but I just felt compelled to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I do apologize for having to come back, but I do want to thank everyone for the cards and the letters of condolence for the passing of my Aunt Addie Threet. She was 89 years old, and she was the Domino's Queen. And one of the things that I will always remember is when we would play on Sunday afternoon and I would lose, she'd say, "Go home and practice." So I'm practicing to become the next Domino's Queen for the family. But so many people sent their condolences by Facebook because she had her own fan club and looked forward every Sunday to seeing us play dominoes on Facebook. So I do want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you to all the council members who sent letters. I do appreciate that. And know that my family, we're doing well, one day at a time. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. There's nothing further. May what you say and do uplift the city of Newport News. We stand adjourned.